5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, great flick on by Alan Armstrong. Oh, what a beauty! Oh, what a beauty! I waited all my life for that. What a screamer!
Hello and cheers for joining us for this week's episode of the Scarf Bergara War, the stickiest, clammiest, most sick of this bloody weather county-related show on the information superhighway. I'm Nick Lee, or as some faceless Twitter warrior called me last night, County's Mark Goldbridge. So usually I'd get dead angry about that, but it's hard to be asked about anything else when your balls keep sticking to your leg, innit? You know when you get a new phone and you peel the screen protector off. That's been me all day. That. Horrible all day long. Joining me tonight to rub some after sun onto the clammy thighs of county news, views, and opinion, it is, of course, the one and only Russ Johnson. Russ, how are you?
I'm absolutely hunky-dory. Thank you very much for asking. How are you?
Yeah, good, except for the weather. I don't know if I got it across in the intro, just how pissed off about this weather. I just don't like weather in general.
You just don't like weather. Yeah, well, it gets you that way, doesn't it, weather?
Yeah, it makes me really angry. I'm just angry at everyone now. It's a good job we've got a great football team to talk about, innit? Otherwise, I'd just be right over the edge. Imagine we're in National League North with this weather.
I quite like the weather. I quite like the hot weather. I don't know what everybody complains about.
It's just too hot. It's a different kind of hot, though, isn't it?
It's different. Yeah, it's close. They're close, isn't it?
It's close. Yeah. Closer than Neymar and his sister.
And the Carpenters. Tonight, did you want to say anything else before I get on to?
No. I was just going to crack on and say what's coming up tonight. But you're already there, mate.
Yeah. Well, we've got Chris Beaumont joining us very soon. He's just having some technical issues. We seem to be getting people that have technical issues, but Chris will be joining us very, very shortly. We're going to talk about the academy, the 3-2 win against Huddersfield, and Keane leaving. So yeah, we'll have to get our tissues out for that bit.
Yeah, don't be sad because it's over. Be glad it's happened.
That is it. That is absolutely it. So before Chris has arrived. So before we get Chris out, please do subscribe to the channel, like on YouTube. Let's get those likes over 100. If you're listening on Apple, please leave us a review. Please leave us a review with the name of an obscure county player. And if you do that, we'll pick a winner and we'll get something over to you. Not really sure what that will be yet. And then rate on all your other podcast players. That'd be pretty good, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Maybe as the prize, we'll let them unstick my balls from my leg. How about that?
I'm sure that's a prize someone's willing to really wants to win.
The reviews will all be coming in now. None of them will be good, but the reviews will be coming in. That's the main thing. That'll get us up the algorithms.
That will get us up the algorithms, yes. Right, we're going to get Chris Beaumont out, our special guest. Have you got an intro for Chris?
No. You're the intros for the guest, man. You're the man of the people on here.
Is that right?
I'm the unapproachable weirdo. You're the man of the people.
I'm the man of the people. You're the Mark Goldbridge. Okay, let's get Chris out. Here we go. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening. I just come at the wrong time when I could hear balls and things like that, so it worried me a bit.
No, you're in the right place. You're in the right place.
Business as usual.
This is usually how this podcast goes. Well, let me just change the background because I think you've got. Let's do that just to match your shirt there. Nice shirt, by the way.
Yeah, well, I didn't know what to wear, so I've gone back to 1992. If that's okay.
Hey, that's perfect with us. Yeah, definitely.
I wish we all could.
So, what we're going to do tonight, Chris? We're going to talk to you, about your career, about some of the stuff that happened when you was at County, and the stuff that happened after you left County. So we'll just have a chat with you about your career, basically. Then what we'll do is we're going to carry on talking. We're going to talk about the new academy, the Cat 3 Academy that County have just got. the friendly win, and then Keno and other little bits and bats. You're free to leave before we start talking about that. But equally, you're free to stay as well. And if you want to chat about that, you can do. It's entirely up to you.
Not a problem, yeah. That's fine.
Okay, so where do we start with Chrissy Beaumont? Right, okay, so I've got to say, you were involved in one of the best goals I've ever seen County score live. I missed quite a lot of the sort of mid to late 90s stuff. So the goal I'm talking about is the Ian Halliwell Everton equaliser.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that in a minute. I think that we asked our fans then, they're not our fans. We asked our listeners and things. I don't know why I even thought that. We asked our listeners for questions, and we got a bucket load. So we've got all these questions to ask you. Hopefully, we'll get through them all. So the first, and I haven't got the names of the people that asked the questions, by the way, so I do apologise. But what did it mean for you to play for County, and what was the thing you most loved about the club? And we'll get onto everything around that as we move along.
Nice, easy one to start with, then.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, just to play for County to start with, or the chance to be a professional footballer. That was my dream, or like growing up, that's what you want to do, you see. And then obviously County gave me that chance, and I'm a great believer. It don't happen as much now. When you're at a club, that's it, you stay at that club. I'm quite a loyal person, if you know what I mean. So
yeah.
Though I did move, it was after 7-8 years, and it wasn't my intention to. It's just how it goes with the wife being pregnant, and to go to Chesterfield was down the road, but it was an absolute dream. Yeah, and from day one, obviously the debut against Torquay, and then just moving forward, and it just seemed to snowball, and it got better and better, and obviously your stats will show it, and you can look back. The crowds got bigger and bigger. The stadium changed. It just went from 0 to 100 in no time. And it sounds daft, but the time just flew by. It just went. So your memories are great now, because at the time you're just on that snowball, and you don't get a chance to sit back and realise what's happening.
Yeah. So were you not a pro at Rochdale then?
I had a season, well, it was less than a season at Rochdale, but I'd got a job. I was just a pen pusher. And Danny, the story was Danny used to be Sheffield United's reserve team manager. So he wasn't involved on Saturdays. He used to just take the reserves on a Wednesday night. So on a Saturday, he'd come and watch Simon, who played with me at Dennerbay. It was like a mining village sort of thing. So he used to go just to watch Simon there. And then obviously must have seen me, got the chance, and then just asked me if I wanted to come on trial. So I got 3 months off work to go and have a trial at Rochdale.
Wow.
So I did 3 months there. Just near the end of my 3 months, I went and pulled my hamstring. So Danny, fair play to him, he gave me that opportunity to recover. So I ended up having the rest of the season there. And then obviously Danny, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, whispered in my ear that it was going, me and Faney. So obviously that's the next step. We moved on to Stockport with Danny.
Brilliant. So the first time you met Danny then was that you said that was at Sheffield United Reserves, did you say? The first time you ever met him?
He used to be manager at Sheffield United Reserves, but it's just that he'd been coming, watching his son play. He'd been at Sheffield Club before he went there, so I'd had a season playing with the second team, but Danny was the first team manager. So I was aware of him, but not really a close relationship.
Yeah. So what did you think of Danny when you first met him? Because he's obviously a bit of a character. Did that come through straight away, or?
Yeah, I mean, the chance just to listen to him, and it takes time to understand. And once you understand him, or once you get to know what he's saying, you understand it straight away, even though he's not. I know it sounds daft. He's not saying what he means in English, but you pick up what he's saying and you get his meaning from there. And some of his sayings, as you go on in time, the memorable. But yeah, he was just a character, and his love for whatever he did. When I'd seen him, because he used to play golf around the corner from where I lived on Lees Hall, and people used to say that I knew when you see him play, the passion he's got in golf and in football, everything that he does, he throws 100% in, and that includes training. He has to take training, even when he set us off on a 12-minute run before training most days. He'd be there and he'd follow you. He just wouldn't stand there or sit there. He'd be obsessed. He had to be involved in everything. and he'd see everything you were doing as well. So he knew those that were fitter than others. So if you weren't in the same position when you finished, then there'd be words to be had, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, that's interesting to know.
So it was passion for life as well as football, but obviously football was his main love.
Yeah.
So his passion was always up there from day one.
Nice. I don't know if you can see, we are getting comments through. So as comments come through that are fitting with what we're talking about, we'll flash them up and get some people to ask you some questions as well.
No problem.
How did Danny make you a better player? Because obviously you were with us from '89 till after Danny left, I think.
Yeah, a few seasons with Dave Jones and what. Yeah,
that's it. So, what did? I mean, I'm guessing you would say that Danny made you a better player. What did he do to you and for you as a person to make you a better player?
His belief in me. Yeah, but also the training ground. And I think he picked up quite a bit early doors that I'd give 100%, but probably when it comes to that final touch or that finishing, it wasn't quite there. So Danny used to keep me behind numerous times. And he'd show me how to finish. And then after he'd done it 3 or 4 times, he'd let me do it. And there was no way I was going to finish as well as he did, getting to the side of the ball and whipping it, etc., etc. But it was just his perseverance with every player. He knew how to get the best out of every player and what he had to do with them players. And mine was obviously, to start with, was just finishing until I started finishing a bit, and he knew from there the confidence had come. But
it's about managing personalities as well as players, isn't it?
Oh, he'd have different conversations with different people at different times and what have you, and it was just with you and Danny. It weren't Danny and 4 or 5 others. It was just that personal touch, and it was very good at the timing and when to do it and where to do it.
Yeah. Would you say that? This isn't the Danny Bergara show, but we are named the Scarf Bergara Award, so we have to, we do like to talk about it. But would you say that he was ahead of his time at that point in terms of man management? Because it almost felt to me at that time that, and maybe it's just because I was young, that you stick 11 out, you ask him to play, and if they don't play, then you shout at him or whatever. Was he ahead of his time in that respect, or?
Probably with that, but also the formations that he played. I mean, I grew up obviously in them days, way before your time, where it was 4-4-2 and that was it. And then Danny's all of a sudden playing with wing backs and play wide and push forward. Yeah, but there's gaps there, and no, they're filled by this and that. And it just seemed, like you say, with his man management, or also with his tactics, it just seemed in front, and it helped us. It got the right people in the right places at the right time.
Yeah. The halfy is a famous one that we hear a lot. I don't know if you can shed any light on that for us.
I think I know what halfy means, as in you don't go in it halfy. Everything that you do is 100%.
Okay.
So instead of 50 of that and 50 of that, it's 100% all the time. But I think, again, you get to know what Danny's meaning. Instead of saying 100%, he's saying halfy, which is 50-50.
Right, yeah.
So it's at times the Bergara language, and this is Danny Bergara's language, is completely different. But you pick up on what he means.
Yeah. No, that's good. Right, last word on Danny Bergara then. What is your favourite Danny memory or story?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, really. And I won't name names, we played a game behind closed doors one afternoon. And then a few players ended up going back to stay at somebody's house. We'd gone out for a drink in this local hotel. I've just cut off. Can you hear me? I'm just seeing to cut off at the moment. Yeah, we'd gone back to this local hotel, and to cut a long story short, there'd been a bit of trouble, but we was in training the following day, and when we went in, me included as well as a couple of others, we've got a few cuts and bruises, but a couple of the lads, there was nothing wrong with him. But Danny had done his investigation and found out what had happened. So he knew without us telling him what had gone off. And instead of looking at me and a couple of others and questioning his marks on his faces, he looked at the other two. And he just looked at him and said, "Shit houses, what you run for?" And you know what I mean? He'd done his investigation, he'd found out what, and it had gone from there. So, but that's Dan again. He's 100%. He needs to know what he's done or what he's saying before he does it.
So
Nice.
could you have known when you signed in 1989? Did you have any inkling of what was to come? Obviously, not only the 4 Wembley trips, but putting the club on the map. Did you have just any thought that was what was going to come?
No, you just wanted to play football, and obviously I remember when we started there, and there's a little stand behind the net, and there's obviously a few people watching, and then the next minute there's a 5,000 stand gone behind the net, and you're off to Wembley twice in a week or whatever it were, and then twice again in 10 days, and it was just a dream, to be honest. But it went that quick, or it come that quick, and then you just didn't get a chance to stop. You were just on a roller coaster ride.
What sort of a player were you? Were you the type that would, and I suppose you can admit this now, were you the type that would party and live life to the full in between the matches and after training and things, or were you quite disciplined?
I started off very disciplined because I started quite, well, not late in life, but when I first went to Rochdale, pre-season was really tough. So my focus was just trying to catch up and get up to that level of everybody else. But then after I went to Stockport, and after a couple of years, and you only have to look at the characters there without going into names, you know who's who.
I think we know, don't we?
Yeah, we were very close, but there was a lot of socialising as well, you see. But we worked hard as well. It weren't just socialising and go down. We'd work hard in training, etc. And I think that's and you can look back. That's the team spirit that they've got, and I think that's what helped us as well. We'd play hard on the pitch, and then we wouldn't play as hard. But do you know what I mean? We'd go out and socialise together, and there were never any fallouts. And then you'd be back in training and pushing each other again. Yeah,
I think if you're winning matches, that kind of, I wouldn't say get brushed under the carpet, but it's not as prevalent, is it? That if you're doing that kind of thing.
Well, I'd like to think, and you don't know, but if we'd have lost 13 or 14 games on the trot instead of winning, sort of thing, we wouldn't have been going out. I think it was just that bond and keeping that bond going.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the time, there were players that had obviously come from the northeast and what have you, and Sheffield, so we was in that area. We weren't all going off home and not meeting up, you see, so we was quite close as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Moving on to one of those semi-finals in the playoffs, Stoke. Did something happen in the tunnel at Stoke? Was you aware of, or should we just move on from that question?
Well, if it was something that happened, it didn't involve me. I was just too focused on trying to get out there. But I don't know, because obviously the first leg at home, if I remember against Stoke, was let's say quite tense and what have you. I think it was quite physical. So I think it spilled over a bit before, and it was just words more than anything else, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Unless you can enlighten me on something that I'm missing here.
No, we're not going to say anything. We've been asked the question to ask, and I wanted to ask you without saying anything, so we're not going to speculate or anything.
Treading carefully for once, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
It's interesting.
I'll take the blame for everything, don't worry.
It's very interesting with those times, with these big rivalries that came about, particularly with Stoke and Burnley and Port Vale as well, I suppose.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've picked up a lot of new listeners over the last year or two who they only know rivalries against the likes of FC United and Curzon Ashton and Altrincham and Chorley and what have you. So just what was it like being at the centre of proper rivalries like that?
Oh, I can remember like Burnley as well, for whatever reason. I don't know if at one patch we had the upper hand on them, but it didn't help when poor old Kev, every time he's touching the ball, they're giving him numerous stick and what have you. Then obviously I remember when we played Burnley at home and we were drawing, and then Kev scored virtually the last header of the game, sort of thing. And their fans who were all packed behind the net, and you could hear the pin drop. And I don't know if it's because we was a small club. You've got your Burnleys, you've got your Birminghams, your West Broms, so Stokes. I don't know if they thought that we were treading on toes, and you know what I mean. no, we're not having it. But we were a small club, but we're starting to get that fan base, and it was really taking off. Not up to the capacity of when we went, obviously, to Stoke and Birmingham, and there's 20,000 there and what have you. But we were filling Edgeley Park out when we played them, and I don't think they like that. So I think that's where the rivalry started. And in Kev, we had a great ally, but it was a focus for anybody to have a go at, you see. And I think that's where this rivalry started coming because of things like that.
Yeah, I think we just boiled their piss, didn't we? Because we were a small club. And it's probably the same for us certainly for me, when FC United were beating us, I couldn't stand FC United because of this small club. So we were probably getting a taste of our own medicine, really, you know, with FC United. And
we just seem to be playing the same teams over and over again in certain competitions, you see, and that adds to it as well.
Did you ever have a bit of needle with any players on a regular basis? That you came up against, or anyone that was like considered a player rival for you?
Not at all. No. There was somebody, I can't remember his name now. He was at Chester, and we played Chester at home. And I must have had one of them games where he got a bit of stick after the game from the manager. And then we played Chester away. And we'd only just kicked off, and wherever I went, he followed me and he just kept kicking me, which that didn't bother me at all. And just as I've been told I've got to stop you, I'm going to stop you at all costs. And then for whatever reason, after half an hour, seemed to tire, and then it opened up, and I think we went 3-0 up, and then he got took off and what have you. But apart from that, there were nobody really that you get on the pitch and then you think, right, I've got to get top dog at him, or he's going to be kicking me. You see, it didn't bother me. I just used to get on with what. It was just Burnley that had bugged you for whatever reason. So I suppose you can work that one out for yourself, can't you?
Yeah. It's funny because we're probably just a piece of shit on their shoe at the moment. But I know, Nick, you go on the Messi Sports, don't you? When they're still talking about us, aren't they, Burnley?
Yeah. We're still very much in their consciousness. Yeah, they're still very aware of what's going on. I think they're fully anticipating getting drawn against us in the cup in the next few years. Now we're in two national cup competitions. There's more chance of it happening. I won't be surprised if that happens soon. I'd love that. Graham Barrow.
Daz Sampson, friend of the show, says that the play was Graham Barrow, and he remembers it.
Does he remember it, Graham Barrow? Yeah, the name rings a bell now, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he went on to manage Chester, did he not, Graham Barrow?
Yeah.
Other clubs, yeah.
Good solid lower league manager he was.
Yeah. Cheers for that, Daz. So moving on then. So onto the 4 Wembley appearances. I mean, we can't let this opportunity go to ask you about the sending off. What actually happened?
The truth?
Yeah. The truth. Yeah.
As I remember it, I was on the because obviously we were down to 10 men then. I was on the right hand side of the pitch. Kev was in the middle. We tried to split them because they were always going to leave a man back, so that obviously levelled the numbers on the pitch. Now, Neil Edwards had got the ball. I can't remember whether it was a cross or a corner. He collected it, and straight away he launched it towards me. So I was running, if you can imagine it. I was on the halfway line. I was running towards the ball because as Neil kicked it, it was falling short of me. So I went to meet it, but the ball bounced just before I got there. Now, the left back was right on my backside. So as it bounced, I ducked, leant forward. He's then, if you can imagine it, because he's that close and I've ducked, he's gone over the top of me. So as he's gone over the top of me, the ball's bounced over me. So I turned and run for the ball.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can imagine it now. Can you stand still and turn without putting your leg back to push off? Now, apparently, as I've turned to push off, I've caught him. Not intentionally at all. I've caught him running down the line. I believe that he thinks, right, I'm completely out of position here. It's nearly turning into a 2v1 position. So he's rolled around on the floor for 10 minutes. Just exactly the same as Ted McMinn did when he got a bit of water in his face and he rolled around on the floor. So that is honestly, I did not stamp on anybody or anything intentionally. I've just turned to push off. Might have caught him, but not intentionally. and then he's rolled around on the floor. And it was funny because we've played on, if you remember, I've crossed it, Kev's gone in for the challenge with somebody, and then the lad's gone down, they've gone on, and then when the linesman's flagging, everybody presumed it was something to do with Kev. And then he's come up Ellery, who said a few words to me and just sent me off.
So, what did Ellery say to you? We all know that Ellery's a 4-letter word that we don't like to say on this show. Starting with C.
Well, I got double Ellery, didn't I? Because when I went to Chesterfield,
the semi-final.
He refed the semi-final. So I'm trying to plead my case, and he went, "Not listening, Beaumont. Off you go. Don't even speak to me." So because he was old school and what have you, I shouldn't have, but I accepted it then and walked off. Now, when we played, obviously there was Sky when we played at Old Trafford, and it was on the screen, and you could see that it'd gone over the line. When he said play on, it had gone miles over the line. So everybody surrounded him. So I went up and I just gave him a few expletives without going into detail myself. And he just accepted it. I'm not changing my mind, I mean, the only hindsight in all this is that he's been kicked off referees league for, I believe, other things, but we'll leave it there. There's a bit of karma there, if you know what I mean. But I'd still like to sit down and have a conversation with him.
I think we all would. I think he's one of them. I mean, obviously, referees get stick. A lot of them have it deserved. But I think that's the one thing. I go on a lot of other club message boards, and every club seems to have an Ellery moment. They seem to have a moment where David Ellery has done them out of something.
If I'm right, weren't he some sort of old headmaster at a boys' school? He had that sort of mentality about him. So he was like, and there were no talking to him. A lot of refs you could have a conversation with, and they'd still say they're right, but he wouldn't even listen to you.
Yeah. They used to always just when he was on when he was doing a cup final, they'd always say, "Oh, David Ellery, the Harrow schoolmaster," as though that makes any difference. Back before referees were full time. So going back to the Burnley final, then what was after you got sent off? What was that long walk past the Burnley fans like? That must have been horrible.
Oh, it was just a nightmare. It just, you know what I mean? You just, what's happened? Because you knew, I think it was still 1-1 at the time, but you knew that was it. We were down to 9 men, and you feel that, though honestly, I didn't do anything, you feel as though you've let everybody down, and that sort of thing. And you just got your head down, and you can hear everything that's being shouted and said, but it's not going in, if you know what I mean. It's just bouncing straight off you, and it's just all a blur.
How did Danny react? What did Danny have to say about it?
Didn't say anything at all. Didn't say anything after the game at all. I think everybody, we thought, well, all 4 of them, we had a very good chance, but I think we thought that we got it. We hadn't been too overconfident. I think we thought this is our time. You can't go 4 without winning 1, etc. And we'd had a great build up. Everything was spot on. We'd done everything right, and I think everybody was just gobsmacked, for want of a better word, and just couldn't believe what had happened to play a place like that, and then you're finishing with just 9 men and everything. If you remember, there was a challenge on Neil Edwards early doors that just got bypassed as well. So it's as though everything that day just went completely the wrong way for us.
Yeah, don't like to think about it too much, do we?
You're right cheering me up tonight, you know.
I was going to say, that's probably a good time. Obviously, after that 94-95, Danny's sacked. Dave Jones steps up from assistant. And then obviously we have 95-96 with those Everton games.
Yeah.
And that's kind of Dave took the work that Danny had already done and took us on to another level. What was that game at Goodison like?
It was weird because I don't know if you remember, I got injured the week before, and they sent me for an X-ray, and I got like a little stress fracture in my leg. So the week before I was limping on the physio table, etc., can't play. So I'd got it in my head, that was it. I weren't playing, etc. We'd come in, because it was a Sunday game, weren't it? I think we'd come in on the Thursday, and Jonesy pulled me, says, "Oh, Roger wants to see you." how's your leg? I said, oh, it's a bit sore. He says, look, we know what it is, but it's not a broken leg. It's just a little stress fracture. If you have a jog round the pitch with Roger, see how it is, we can give you something for the pain, and then you can play. So I was literally, when the lads were doing like five-a-side, just warm up as Jonesy used to do before they were going off to Liverpool. And I was limping around the pitch a few times, and then it started getting easier, or you could get used to the pain sort of thing. So we jogged round, and then we did a bit of sprinting, and Roger said, do you want to join in? I went, why? He said, because Jonesy wants you to join in. So I went and joined in, did a bit of training. Jonesy pulled me and says, oh, you're all right, you've got your stuff, get your stuff, you're coming with us, you're in squad. So I says, well, what about it? He says, well, when we get there, I don't know if you won't notice this, everybody went up to warm on the Sunday on the pitch, as they did. I stayed behind. Right. I had an injection just to numb the area where it was hurting. And when everybody come in for the start to have the warm up and the team talk, I went out for a warm up on my own, just so that it didn't, you know what I mean, start hurting. So I went out, did my warm up. Everybody then come out, and then it just played from there. But the fans that day, I'll never forget. From when we come out, or I come out for the warm up, and from the start to the finish of the game, I don't think that's the first time I've known fans as such, just constantly. And I've been to, as you probably know, I've been to a few games now, and it's just constant noise and singing. And that's the first time that I've come across that. And it was just, wow. I mean, we could have, and we probably could have sneaked it at the end, but just to be involved in that day. And obviously at the time, they were the cup holders as well, you see. So it was just from start to finish, and it was just one of them games. It's a shame we didn't finish it off, but that's probably the story of my life at Stockport. We get so close without actually getting that final bit, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. You were involved in both goals that day, weren't you? Because even though the commentary says Halliwell, it's your header that Neville Southall saves, isn't it? Am I right?
Yeah.
Alan put in.
Jonesy slaughtered me for that, said I should have scored, but I said, no, I'm an assist. I don't score, I'm an assist. So, yeah, it comes to me, and I did it. Neville pushed it, and then Alan volleyed it into the net.
Yeah.
And you say... I'm claiming 2 assists, even though I should have scored one.
No way.
I was going to say, you say you're an assist man. Well, on to the second equaliser, Russ's favourite county goal. What a ball from Toddy in the first place, but what a cross.
I was just going to say, Toddy put it on a plate, if you know what I mean. He put it into space. There was a bit of a sprint, so it had to go in first time because I could see Ian Halliwell going in there, and there was no need for me to take a touch. It was just there, like you say, a perfect ball from Toddy, and it was just slowing down enough for me just to whip in, and then Ian Halliwell made it look a good cross with his finish because he's diving at an angle and bending his neck and got power and put it in the corner. So I'll claim the assist, but obviously Toddy's ball and Ian Halliwell's great header is the main bit of that move.
That's why it's one of my favourite. Well, probably my favourite goal that I've seen live, because the ball from Toddy, your obviously sublime cross, Ian Halliwell's header past, let's face it, a world-class goalkeeper, Southall. We just went absolutely mental, because if you think about the actual situation, FA Cup third round away at a Premier League team that had just won the cup, I'm not sure it's got better than that for us. Even when we played Middlesbrough, but even at the time after that, that to me is the peak that we got to.
Can't disagree with that. Especially, I remember the replay as well, and you thought, "Oh, we're at home, we've got a chance." But I think they upped it when they come to our place. And if I remember rightly, and there's a story to this, Duncan Ferguson played at our place. And I'd got the task, if you call it that, as when they had throw-ins or long throw-ins, everything was at Duncan Ferguson. So I was told, just stand in front of him, get as close to him as you can. So the first one that they took, I probably got too close, and I stood on his toes, and then he's like pushed me away, flicked it on. 2 minutes later, another one's come in. So as I've gone back, all I could hear is, "Hey lad, you come near me and you'll get it." So I waited 5 yards in front of him just so he didn't. actually get his elbows. Because I don't know if you've seen Duncan Ferguson live. He's very large.
Yeah. We played them in the League Cup, I think, a few years later, didn't we? When Rooney played as well, and he was a beast. He was a beast then. But yeah, you're right. They had to up it in the replay. I mean, I remember coming out of the ground at Goodison, and two Everton fans were saying, "No, you're just a bunch of jokers, you lot." After a 2-2 draw, and like the guy who was with me, he just went, "Well, we just drew 2-2 with you. So what? What's your game?" Kind of thing. They were running scared that day, weren't they?
And they had a lot of big players playing. It's not as though they had all reserves or youngsters. They had quite a few well-known players play.
Yeah, Gary Ablett, Graham Stewart. You know, they're not mugs of
11, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, thanks for talking about that. That's took me back to my best goal. It's my favourite goal. Great. So after that, then I think it wasn't long after that you eventually moved on. How do you feel about that? Because the following season, I think it was the very next season, we had we had arguably one of our best seasons ever. What was your feeling? I know you went on to
Luckily, Chesterfield had a good one as well.
I know. So,
tell you what, are you here to cheer me up or up?
No. Well, we'll cheer you up because I think Chesterfield got the Giant Killer Award, didn't they, in the cup for the cups
I think
that
was
season.
The second season. In fact, if you remember, you'll know better than me. When you got promotion, or when we got promotion, shall I say, Stockport got promotion, they did it at Chesterfield, didn't they? And I played for Chesterfield that night. So that was very bittersweet. And John Duncan had pulled me before the game as well. And he another Scottish one, and very honest, and just said, "I'll be watching you and I'm expecting 100%. I said, "That's all I ever give anyway." Because if I remember rightly, you scored it, but Angel scored in first 3 or 4 minutes, and then it just stayed like that all the game.
Yeah.
And people ask me, was that the ideal result for me? But I can't obviously answer that. But I didn't mind going over to Stockport fans and just clapping them at the end. That's all.
Yeah. No, we just basically shit ourselves for the rest of the match. That's what we were doing.
4 months of stoppage time added on at the end. But, I mean, you scored in an FA Cup quarter-final that season as well, didn't you? And assisted in a semi-final.
I did, yeah. We played Wrexham at home. It was a weird one because we played at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Two ties on the Saturday. We played, and then after we played, the wife, she just had a youngster, so everybody went out in Chesterfield. Missed out on it a bit. Everybody went out in Chesterfield. Can you see my ear, mate?
Yeah.
It's all right. The screen just got a bit blank. So everybody went out to celebrate, but I drove back to Sheffield. Everybody's gone out, etc. And as I was leaving the ground, this interview guy's come up to me and just said, did an interview, and then he just jokingly just said, "Are you going for a drink?" So I said, "No, I'm just going to see a couple of my friends." Named this pub that I was going into, and he says, "Oh, we'll give you a ring in a bit, 5 Live." So I didn't think anything of it. I went to meet my cousins in this pub, thinking, "Oh, we'll have a good drink, etc." I've just scored and we're in semi-final FA Cup. I went in and my cousins are walking out. I said, "Where are you going?" "Oh, we're going to watch Sheffield Wednesday. They were playing Wimbledon in the last quarter-final." So I ended up staying in this pub, watching them on the telly, on Sky. And then just before the end of the game, the landlord says, "Chris, there's a phone call for you." So I thought it was a wife he ready to be picked up. And this bloke says, "I'm just ringing up from 5 Live. If you stay on the line, you'll hear Gary Lineker in a minute." So I says, "Why?" He says, "Well, he wants to have a chat with you, and then they're going to do the FA Cup draw, and then come back to you where you're okay to give a couple of comments." So I said, "Yeah." So then I got the phone, and I don't know, obviously a few pints celebrating, and then I shouts over to the landlord, "Get me a couple of pints, get me a couple of pints." So I'm drinking them. You then hear the cup draw. He then comes back to me and says, "What do you think of the cup draw?" I said, "The usual stuff. It didn't matter who you've got, etc., etc. It's just good to be in there, and we'll see where we go." And he says, "Oh, I've heard it's at Ellen Road, the game." So he says, "What do you think about that?" So I says, he says, oh no, what he said, he said, I think it could be at Ellen Road or it's Old Trafford. Which ground would you like to play at? So me being honest and had a few pints, I just says, well, I'd like to play at Ellen Road. He went, why do you want to do that? I says, well, it's a shithole and it'll suit us. We'll be playing. And then, you know, when you think, and he just went, oh, thanks for that. And he cut me off. I thought, you could cut me off. And then I'd gone home and my phone never stopped ringing. Did you say on 5 Live it's a shithole, Ellen Road? I didn't mean it like that. I meant the pitch. But then we went to training the following day in the Monday because, believe it or not, Chesterfield had got a game on the Tuesday. So I'd gone in and I was first there, being for 10 o'clock. I was sat there, 10 o'clock, everything fine, blah, blah, blah. Lads started coming in 10:30, 11:15. They still got the clothes on from the night before. They'd gone in and wherever they went, obviously all Chesterfield were out and there were free drinks wherever they went and there were only muggins that had stayed in. Everybody had gone out. John Duncan come in, word for word, and says, thanks for coming in, lads. Nobody's involved. You can all go home. And that was it. So they'd all enjoyed themselves, and I got chastised for saying something about Ellen Road pitch.
I like it. I like it. So you had a good time at Chesterfield, didn't you? I mean, let's try and make it positive for you. We're not here to have a downbeat chat.
Is it building me up before you knock me back down again?
No. We're not doing it. We're not here for that.
I'm joking.
Because I know we joke about Chesterfield, but they're another proper club as well.
Yeah. Again, obviously, Saltergate was an old-fashioned ground and what have you. Then, just near the end of the time, they got planning permission, as you know. I'm guessing you were there, and I was certainly there on the away end when we won Bank Holiday this last year.
Yeah.
They've come a long way regarding the infrastructure and the ground and everything. So that hopefully now we've gone up, or I say now Stockport's gone up, then Chesterfield hopefully will follow them this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was again another one, and it was Norton Lee was about old-fashioned chairman, etc., etc. But he believed in the club, but he had a structure and he stayed to it. But he got some good players in, and again the team spirit was good there. And it's all right having these superstars, but if you've got a squad or a team that's very close and believe in each other and what have you, you give 100%, then I think with the ability, at Stockport we had a lot of ability, but with Chesterfield it was limited, but we worked the socks off for each other and then we got us just rewards.
Yeah. Just picking up on something you said then. You said we about county. Is it we for Stockport County for you?
Oh, and I've always followed them, but of late, Russell know this, my son Oliver that's probably set all this up behind me.
Yeah, he has, yeah. Cheers, Oliver.
He's in Tenerife, and he just texted me a minute ago asking how it's going, so I haven't replied, and I'll just give him one afterwards, a phone call. He started, because he never saw me play. Obviously, he was young. Well, he was just born when we played Chesterfield in the semi-final. So he's not really seen me live, etc. And as you go older, as he is now, as you do look on YouTube, looked at videos, started reading up about Stockport, and then started going to a couple of games, and it's just snowballs. He loves the club, he loves the fans, he loves the atmosphere, everything about it. He's now got a season ticket. He was taking me all over, or I was taking him all over. We went to I remember we went up to South Shields to watch him in the FA Cup. And then this year particularly, we've been going everywhere. And he loves it. You know, he knows more people than me. Even he put out, when we played Wrexham in the semi-final, he put out last minute, anybody got any tickets? And he didn't tell me this, and then it was Thursday night. He got on a train to go to Stockport to pick 2 tickets up, to then come back and got back at 1 a.m. to tell me that he got tickets. And he didn't. When he met him, he didn't even tell the person who he was. He just had a chat about Stockport, had a couple of pints, and then got back. He didn't say that he knew me or anything. And it's just snowballed from there. He's not bothered about my history. He's just that old Stockport now. And like I say, he's got a season ticket. He's working out where he's going here and where he's going there. He dragged me to Dagenham over Christmas last year. Well, dragged me. we dragged each other, shall we say? So yeah, we've been to as many of the big games near the end. In fact, Chesterfield was one of the first ones where I've been away where we've won, and I just think me and Stockport, I don't know, I don't see any. We don't win enough for me when I'm there, if you know what I mean. We have these finals at Wembley and we lose, and then I went to Grimsby, I went to Notts County, I went to Wrexham, and I keep saying to Oliver, no, you go because we'll probably win. When I go, we're not winning. But no, it is a way as far as I'm concerned. I've been over the Stockport for a few nights, with Steve Bellis and what have you, then just try and promote the club in any way I can. We obviously had that gin night, so me and Oliver come over Thursday night. I've just been asked actually to come over. There's the book launch coming up, isn't there?
Yes, we were going to ask you about that. Yeah, we were going to ask you about that because me and Nick are sort of presenting that. So you'll meet us in person if you want to. I mean,
he's already met me in person twice.
Am I running this show and you two the celebrities here? Is that how it works, man?
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah. So we Phil Brennan has said, can we ask you about the Basque night? And are you actually are you coming? He said, is that a yes or a no?
I'd like to say it's a yes. I know it's on I work at obviously a secondary school, so we are on holiday. I just needed to check that I weren't aware because it was a Sunday night at 7:00, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I'm just waiting for my son to come back from Tenerife in a couple of days, and then I'm gonna strangle him for getting me on here. Firstly, I'm joking, and then see if he'll drive so that I can buy you two a drink. That's all.
Yeah, nice. Hey, nice.
And I might bring my county shirt for you both to sign as well, if that's all right. I've got me. I don't know if you can see it. I've got my '93 county shirt here as well.
Yeah, well, we can't. Your video's frozen. I don't know why, but
that's why. Well, it's still me in my life, isn't it? I'm talking to a blank screen.
Well, we'll carry on because for people on the audio podcast, they won't notice the difference. Although I've just told everybody, so they'll know.
Well, for the people on the video podcast, I've actually found this on my phone from Nuneaton. There we go. Me and Mr. Beaumont on the pitch.
There we
go. Yeah.
Is that when you tripped me over because I'm past you?
That was me. That was me doing a Ted McMinn. Yeah.
So it's probably a good time to mention the Basque gig then, because we didn't say it last week, so we'll just briefly say it now. 24th of July, we're hosting, if you like, a Basque gig for players that are in the 100 club, 100 appearances or more, which, it's a bit silly because, Chris, you've got 258 appearances, which is quite a lot. But yeah, so we're doing that. There's going to be loads of ex-players there. It is sold out, so you cannot get tickets for that anymore. But it's going to be a great night, isn't it, Nick?
Well, do follow Basque on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram because there's a small chance that there might be a few walk-up tickets becoming available prior to that event. And just to let people know the scope of it, we've got Chris Beaumont, we've got some of the current lads: Ash Palmer, Sam Minahan, Jordan Keane was on there. He's there. Flinney, Bill Williams, Andy Thorpe, Alan Ogley, John Rutter, Keith Briggs, Michael Rains. Just
tell you what, that's brilliant that you've remembered that list. I thought it was longer than that, but I don't think it is. I think you've nailed it there.
I think there's two or three more. Apologies to the ones that I couldn't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, stellar work. Back to you, Chris. What's back to the questions? So, and we will begin to, it's been 50 minutes, believe it or not. It's gone fast. Ian Dowden, what do you think of the players we have now and the style of play?
Well, I've got to say I like it. Under the new manager, shall we say, I think he's got them working as a team, and he's I wouldn't say slowly, he's got the way he wants to play in that structure. And it's all about the structure and not, well, it is the players, but it's not the names. It's how the players play, how we want to play, if you get what I'm saying there. I think he knows where he's going and what he wants to do. And I like a lot of the players, especially. Well, I don't want to name names. I don't think it's fair on the squad how well they've done. But he's certainly got some very talented players there. And if the midfielders turn up this year like they did last year, I think we've got a good chance, and I say we again, of going straight up. My only fear is that we've only got one Paddy Madden, you see. All of the positions seem to be covered 2-3 fold. And Paddy's Paddy. He scores goals as well as works his socks off. And that's a very rare commodity for me.
Yeah, we've said it a lot on this podcast. And even with Jordan Keane, when we spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, he said it's off the scale, the amount of his engine that he's got and the work rate of the lad.
Well, I remember, because I know it sounds daft, the next player, I get carried away when I'm watching and I will sing and chant away with every fan that's there. But you watch certain people, and for whatever reason, I always seem to go back to watching him. I remember it was 0-0, obviously. Wrexham scored them 2 late goals in the FA Trophy semi-final. And he'd come flying back to left back, shepherd the ball out for a goal kick, and then instead of walking back up, he sprinted back up front. And that was in the 88th minute.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, he needs testing, that guy. His work rate, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
To do what he does, and he's obviously up there as one of the main men, but he doesn't see himself as that. He just works his socks off, and he's a massive role model and a massive part of this club.
Yeah, no, he's become a fan's favourite very quickly, hasn't he? I just imagine during the summer when everyone else was on holiday, I'd imagine he was just running around his garden, just non-stop.
Yeah. Maybe running around a few times, having a pint of Guinness, and then running around again. Who knows? He deserves it.
He does. Yeah. He does. He's an absolute beast. Which one of your goals is your favourite that you scored for County?
If I remember rightly, I remember the first game of the season we played Wigan away. And I'm going to say this jokingly. The second one, if you remember, it was a long ball up to Kev. He flicked it to me, and then from the halfway line I ran, even though obviously the defenders helped me. I just kept going and going, and then cut in and curled it into the far left-hand corner. I enjoyed that one because after the game, and this is the only time it'll ever happen, I was leading goal scorer in the Football League. I was joint with 2 goals with a bloke called A. Shearer.
Oh, nice.
What happened to him?
You see? Hey. Do you like that? Do you like that little stat?
Yeah, I'm loving that. I'm loving that. Yeah.
I bet he didn't represent his club at Wembley 4 times, did he? Don't think he did.
Well, I know he lost at Wembley for Newcastle a couple of times. So
yeah.
He might have scored there for England and won, but that's not the same, is it?
No.
Club first.
That could be the name of the podcast. Something about Alan Shearer. Nice. Oh, I like that one. And what's your favourite County shirt that you wore as a player? There you go. Is it the one you've got on, or?
I was just going to say my fashion sense is not the best, you see. So I've got the 93 one, the blue that's got the red and white dashes going down it, but for whatever reason it probably did look horrendous when we played in it, but I've got quite a good liking to it. I'm not quite sure on the Robinson's best bit of it, but the one that was it against Peterborough we wore without going into the scoreline, the yellow one there.
Yeah. When you say your fashion set, I mean, I thought they looked really smart at the time. Didn't they? That's
it's coming back now. It's those kits have influenced the new one as well. So fashion is just cyclical. It all comes around again.
It does. Well, my age, it must have come around for the 3rd time then.
You've mentioned your age a couple of times now. You're not too much older than us. You know, I mean, I'm in my 40s, so I remember. At Everton away, I was like 14 or 15 or something. So, yeah, in fact, I got asked for ID in Tesco on Saturday. Buy
Did
some
you?
beer. Yeah. Ask for ID. He said,
Oh.
it's this like old. I say old guy. He must have been in like 60s, mid 60s. Excuse me, son. Have you got ID? I was like, oh, you are treating me today, aren't you? Handing me thingy over. And he went 81. You're 41. I went, yeah. He went, you look a lot younger. I went, what? With like loads of grey hair.
You look a lot younger. Not 17 though.
I beat myself up, pulled myself down because a few years ago, like I've mentioned before, I work in the secondary school, and there was a new teacher that started. As it happens, is like second in charge at school, and he's from Chesterfield. And he says, I'm not a big Chesterfield fan, but my family is, and what have you. And he says, I remember when you played for Chesterfield in the semi-final. I said, oh yeah. He says, well, my dad dragged me off that game. I didn't want to go. I didn't like football, but he dragged me off that game. I said, oh, did you enjoy it? He says, well, I didn't see much of it because I was 10.
Right, yeah.
So he's giving me stick. He's gone to watch me. I says, well, your claim to fame is that you've paid to see me play, but he's 10 years old and I'm playing football.
I like it. I've only got one more question, actually, which is this was sent in by a viewer, by the way, by a listener. Who drinks more cans on the away day trains, you or Oliver?
No, obviously, if he's on there, he knows. Oliver don't drink cans. He drinks these little bottles, sort of thing. But no, we went to. It was Grimsby we went to, and there was 12 of us that went. We got the Cleethorpes from Sheffield. We got that, and it was the half-8 train that we got. And this is Oliver and his mates. So they got a taxi down to the station, and I met 3 of my mates, and my other 4 mates got in a taxi. We got down there, and Oliver's texting us, "We're on the station. Don't be late." I said, "Look, we've got plenty of time." But what I didn't realise is the night before, Oliver and his mates had been to a supermarket and got a tray of bottles. Not 4 bottles, a box of bottles each. So they got like 18 bottles each. So when we got on the station, we'd got nothing. And Oliver and all his mates had got all these bottles. So the cheeky devils started bloody selling them to us on the train, didn't they?
Oh,
he
sold them to his own dad.
Yeah, well, he tried, but don't worry about that. but that's the young guns' mentality. See, we're a bit old school, and we just turn up and don't think about that. But they've been to a supermarket and bought all these cheap boxes of bottles. So, yeah, we enjoy it when we go away. To be honest, well, not say, but I think my belly's a bit larger than this, so I'll claim that I can drink more. I think he's practicing now in Tenerife, but we'll leave it at that.
But is that just going back to your playing days? Is that something you enjoy now? Is going to away matches and coming to county now that you can? Because when you were playing, obviously you were playing and you couldn't sort of enjoy it. It was a job then.
Yeah, you see a complete different side, if you know what I mean. I remember when we went to Blackpool. If we'd have won at Blackpool, Stockport would have got promotion, and we ended up losing 3-2. But we drove into Blackpool and we went on the front, and you could see all the big pubs, and it was absolutely packed with county fans singing away and what have you. But you miss all that because you just go to, obviously, Edgley Park. We get on a coach and we go to the ground and you go in, so you miss all that. It was last year, was it? We played Fylde, and me and Oliver got on a train from Sheffield to Blackpool, and then walked on the front, and then we ended up in this pub. There were over 1,000 Stockport fans all in this pub. They wouldn't let us out, and they were just singing in there. And it's those that I've never seen, if you know what I mean. I've never been part of it, so it's getting it, and we just love that bit.
Yeah. You know, it's good, isn't it? It is good. It's
magical, like getting off a train and just hearing it. You hear it when you get off the train and you think, right, I'll just follow the noise.
You know where the noise is now.
Yeah. It's probably the best part of being a football fan. One of the best parts is the away days, travelling to the ground, being in the pub and stuff. I think we all love that.
How emotional now, Ross.
See, it's a little different for you lot because when after the game you're all going and platforms full and you're all getting on train, and a lot of times me and Oliver get on and there's just two on platform. That's me and him.
Yeah,
We're
you're
going
back to a
sometimes
different
in a
place.
different direction.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Shall we move on to the other topics now, or have you got anything else from your perspective, Nick?
Well, no, we've got competitions galore. Well, one competition. We've got all sorts, haven't we? We've got the departure from one county legend to another, who's departed this week.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, earlier in the show, friend of the show, Dave Schofield, pointed out it's very fitting to have Chris on tonight. For those too young to know what the man was all about, see Jordan Keane, two players a generation apart who never let county down, and that's absolutely spot on, absolutely bob on that.
No, I appreciate that comment. I'm just going to interrupt you if it's okay. Oliver's just texted me, and he's just saying, let us know how it goes. So what comment shall I send him back, guys?
Go on, Nick, you're the funny one.
Say, we've heard you can't handle your ale, Oliver.
Oh, yeah, there's rumours that you can't drink on the train.
Yeah.
A bit of a lightweight.
Rumours going amongst the county fan base.
Yeah, that'll upset him, won't it? He won't like that one. He'll start driving everywhere.
So Chris, we're gonna talk about Jordan Keane, the Huddersfield win, and the academy. You're welcome to stay on and chat with us about that if you've got the time.
I'll stay here. Yeah, I don't know what my input will be regarding that, but I'll certainly stay on and join in if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So before we get on to that, just want to say please do subscribe, like the video on YouTube if you can. We're currently on 26 likes. Let's bang that up, please. If you are watching live, do or if you're watching back, please do hit the like button. Sorry. Leave a review on Apple if you can. If you're listening on iTunes, leave your name as an obscure county player, anything, and we will pick a winner and get something to you in the next few weeks. And do rate us on Spotify as well. Thank you very much. So I mean, let's continue the discussion about Jordan Keane then. Obviously, he was on the show a couple of weeks ago. I don't want to say that we're going to jinx this because, I mean, we've got form, haven't we? To be fair.
Yeah.
It was
They don't stick around very long, do they? After they come on here.
No, but I mean, Jordan Keane, I think it's a completely different story to the one when we had Ben McKenna on. Yeah, what do you say about Jordan Keane? I mean, what was it? 148 appearances, 8 goals, 2 champions, 1 club legend. That's all we can say.
Where'd you go from there? It's just absolutely spot on. And his reasons for leaving, absolutely spot on. You can see why. Massive credit to him for he was in and out of the side last season. Obviously didn't play as much football as he would have liked, but when he was called upon in the running, he was absolutely faultless as ever.
Yeah,
I have to agree with that, and you've got to admire him. He could have took a step back and just stayed at county and what have you, but he's a winner and he wants to play football, and I think it's football for him more than anything else, and he shows that every time he plays. So he deserves a massive pat on the back, and good luck to him next year. I'm sure that he'll be a massive success at Halifax.
He's gone to a proper club, hasn't he? That we'd be quite happy to see back in the league with us. I think, particularly now with they've got Jamie Stott, they've got Matty Warburton, and they've got Jordan Keane as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not just saying this because I spoke to him on the podcast, but he just seems like a decent all-round human being. He's gone to Halifax for the good of his career and his family. I think he's staying in Stockport, and I think he's getting a coaching role with county, with the youth development setup, with the category. That's probably Oliver. With the category 3 academy we've got, so they'll be training. I think they'll be training in the evenings, and he'll be training with Halifax in the daytime. So it's just a good fit all around, isn't it?
Well, it shows his dedication to football, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, how many texts is that from Oliver, Chris?
Just one. Well, it's one long one, just saying, not sure about you drinking more than me. But my daughter's next door, and he's saying, he said that, Maisie's told me that you're non-stop talking. So is it the conversation flowing, or is it the BS flowing?
Ooh.
Hey, that's just some for you.
You've got this to come, Ross.
Oh, it's already happening, mate. It's 14 now. It's already happening.
But that shows you he's in Tenerife with 13 lads, but he's more bothered about not bothered about me, but a Stockport podcast. He wants to know what's happening. You see, he's nosy. He's Stockport.
He's a good lad. That's what he is. He's a good lad.
Well, he did say when he comes back on Friday that he will be listening to it. So I better say he is a top lad. I'll just throw that in, you see, so there's a bit of say to him.
So yeah, well, from one top lad to another, Keno. I mean, any final words on Keno? How long have we got? I mean, we could go on all night about it, really, couldn't we?
He's certainly one of those players that every club or every team needs. Like you say, he won't play, then he'll come on. He does everything spot on. He plays numerous positions. It's just a manager's dream, really, isn't it?
Yeah. And a consummate professional. I think he, like you said before, Nick, he waited for his opportunity, didn't grumble, and that's probably comes from being a coach himself. He's UEFA himself, so he knows that you've got to take your chance when it comes and work hard. And
if it was Football Manager, his description had been model citizen.
Yeah. It would, yeah. Good stuff. Oh, so I mean, let's go on to the Cat 3 Academy that we've just been awarded, or I think it's awarded. You get awarded that, don't you? Or you get rubber stamped?
Yeah, I guess rubber stamped, yeah.
So that unlocks a few doors from us. I don't know, Chris, are you close to all of the coaching element, or do you know about that area of the game in terms of the categories and what that gives to the club and what that means for the future?
I don't know it that well to all the big conversation. It's just obviously I know Chris Wilder, you see, when he was at Sheffield United, and that was a big thing that he pushed for, getting Sheffield United obviously into the Premiership and getting more that category to be as high as he can. And I think that it snowballs and it brings rewards with it, the higher you can get, etc. So it's certainly a massive step in the right direction for Stockport with everything, the ground, the first team squad, etc. Now the academy. It's all moving it in the right direction, so to speak.
Yeah, they've wasted no time, haven't they, with getting that rubber stamped.
9 age groups, starting from under 9s through to under 18s. It's just that the scope is there because clubs like Fleetwood and Accrington, they've got satellite academies in Stockport, and they're picking off the best of the youngsters from our area. So it'd be good to, have the ability. It's
going to attract them better players now, isn't it? Them younger, better players. It's going to attract them knowing where Stockport are and where they're going to go.
Yeah, and it protects us as well. We can protect our own assets with more stringent contracts and things, can't we? In terms of the players and not let them slip through the net.
Exactly. Yeah.
Friend was telling me, Chris Edgerton was telling me, Edgy, my mate, his lad's at Rochdale. He's desperate to play for County, his lad. He's apparently mustard. Top little Thomas, who sits with me in upper tier 1, by the way. So he'll hopefully a future star. And he was saying that they can't just leave Rochdale because they'd have to play grassroots for a year before signing for anybody else. So he's in a contract with Rochdale. They're really desperate to keep him. But Chris has got to go up to Scotland like twice a week or something to go training. So
no one needs that, do they?
Well,
yeah. I had to do it. It was good grounding for me, so
it's all right.
I'm sure he'll learn and he'll come on from it.
Yeah, come to a proper club. Come to County.
He wants to, but he can't at the minute. So that's really good news about the Cat 3 Academy, and you've got to say as well, credit where credit's due. Simon Wilson, in terms of recruitment and setting all this up, we knew he had it in him. We knew he's got pedigree in that area. I mean, he's done a fantastic job, hasn't he?
The work he's done on the infrastructure has been just second to none. Absolute, from the training ground to making sure all the welfare stuff is in place for players when it comes to mental health and stuff like that. Just absolutely everything cracking.
Yeah. So just back to your career then, Chris. Was that something that I'm guessing it's a no, but was that something that you got? Was the mental health side of it prevalent when you were a player?
Not at all. No.
No.
The only thing that supported you, well, for me, was Carling. That's the only thing that supported me.
Yeah.
So no, seriously, it weren't touched upon or mentioned back in them days. It weren't like you've got your fitness coaches, etc., and players are really support. Not that they weren't in my day, but I don't think there was much money or budget around, etc., etc. Well, there were no Sky when we first started playing at Stockport.
Yeah. Yeah, it's come on leaps and bounds since those days, hasn't it? Okay, moving on to the 3-2 win against Huddersfield then. I don't know about you, but the goals. Have you seen the goals? Madden's header and Rydell's free kick. It's just awesome.
Stop scoring all the best goals in pre-season. Stop it.
Yeah. It was some free kick that, weren't it? Because he set it off way outside and it just curled in nicely.
Yeah. When I saw him setting it up on the highlights, I thought, well, go near post. What are you doing? And then, but he came very close with a few free kicks last season. Yeah, he's obviously got it in his locker. I think he's the best corner taker as well in the squad. I think we missed that. We scored quite a few from corners until he was out injured, and then they kind of dried up a bit.
Yeah, and it's a big part of the game now, and tick corners, free kicks, etc. So they've got
marginal gains.
Yeah. Regarding Paddy's header, I'm guessing that Paddy saw the keeper where he were because he seemed a long way out to be heading it, but he looped it over him, didn't he?
Yeah. He used the speed of the ball, didn't he? To sort of, and then the strength in his neck to sort of flick it back over the keeper. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But
letting the ball do the work.
Yeah. Well, that Rydell goal as well. That was on the keeper's side, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, he went over that side, like I say. He seemed to set it off way out, and then it just come in, and I don't think the keeper realised where it was going, but I don't know if he'd got it in the top corner anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Unbelievable goal. So, and that's not, it's not against a shoddy team. I mean, I think Huddersfield played some of their first team players.
First teamers involved. Yeah.
I did wonder if Ben Jackson was playing, but wasn't sure about that.
He did. Yeah,
did he?
Right. He was captain. He was captain, I believe. Yeah, it was. I think it was half academy with a few players who were sort of on the verge of the. Because I think it was advertised as the academy B team, but there was it was a decent mix. And Huddersfield have just signed Kyle Hudlin as well today, formerly of Solihull.
Yeah, I'm not convinced by that at all.
As they did with they did the same with Tom Denton. When he was at a similar age, they signed Tom Denton from non-league, and having seen both a fair bit, I think Denton was better at that age than Hudlin is. Yeah.
What, Huddersfield signed Denton in the past?
Yeah. When he was young, I think when he was about 18, 19. Yeah, they signed him from. They signed him from a lower level than Solihull are at. I think it was like Northern Premier League or something. They signed him from. Yeah,
didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where he was. He did his youth academy stuff and all that. Yeah,
did not know that. Right, shall we do the competition winner?
Yeah. Well, Ross, last week we asked people to comment the word Dunstan in the comments on the YouTube video for a chance to win. And I can tell you, the entries have literally been dribbling in. We've got literally tens of people who have entered for the chance to win. What have they entered for the chance to win, Russell?
They've entered for the chance to win this absolutely smart 2022 Champions print on A3 by Homeless Ghost Print. And if you are in a reasonable SK area, I will drop this off if you are the winner. If not, we'll get it posted out to you. But we'll get it posted out to you if not. Yeah.
I did notice a lot of people in the comments like putting the postcode after the answer.
I know.
Just in case that gives them an extra chance.
Yeah, it doesn't give you extra chance.
Yeah.
And
Like,
why
SK1, mate.
doesn't he give them an extra chance? Nick, show us how we're going to draw the winner.
We are
school.
gonna draw it out of these fantastic county bucket hats.
Yeah.
I can't turn it the other way because all the entries will fall out. But they're all in there. Oh, look at that. Actual, they're all in there on a piece of paper. Do you want to give it a shake, Russ?
Yeah, go on then. Yeah, pass it here. There we go. Give it a good shake. I'll do what they do on the telly. There we go.
Yeah,
Get my handwriting. It's not a Mary Poppins one. There we go. Right. Good shake there. Ready? There you go.
Yes, mate. Nice one, pal.
Oh.
Right. Should I do my best Rod Stewart?
Yeah, go on.
Hang on.
Oh. Down it.
No.
Right. And the winner is Phil Thorley, ladies and gentlemen. Phil Thorley. Phil with 2 L's.
Phil Thorley
is the winner. He's a real person as well. I checked. It's Phil Thorley. Phil Thorley, everyone. Number 69, Phil Thorley.
You can stop saying it now.
Hey, this is slowly going downhill here, you know.
So, well done, Phil Thorley. You have won the Homeless Ghost Prince, as modelled as held by me, not modelled by me. Phil Thorley rings a bell. I'm sure I'm sure I know a Phil Thorley from either Brinny or Offy. Anyway, if you're local,
that's handy for you, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's pretty handy for me. So that was pretty good, that Nick. That's the best competition we've ever ran, and it was so seamless doing it in that way.
And a real person won it this time.
Yeah. I love it. So what have we got coming up on future shows? We've got Dave Conlon's coming on next week, live in the County Arms. Chris's phone's going again. We've got Ben Whitfield.
I'll ring them back.
Okay, thanks, Chris. We've got Ben Whitfield coming up in a couple of weeks. Yeah, we've got him coming up. That's all I'm going to say. Then after that, usual guests. We've got all of our usual guests coming up. We'll get all those people on that we had from last season, including the opposition guests as well. So I've been scouring the podcasts from other clubs. So that should be good. We've got a new member of the team. Carl Waring is going to do some of the media, help Pete, not Phil. Phil's the winner of the Phil.
Yeah, you got Phil on the brain.
Yeah, no, he's going to help with some of the media. We've got blogs coming from Ant and Adam this season as well. The kids show is going to start. Daniel wants to do that, so he's going to lead that, and he's going to invite kids on. If anyone wants to get in touch, if your kid, I guess let's say between the ages of 13 and 15, probably ideally. There's Chris's phone again. It's live, as you can see. Yeah.
I'll ring you back in a sec, pal.
Does he want to come on?
It's some of the kids who want to come and do the show.
Listen, you certainly don't want this character on. Oof, you think I'm bad.
And then a couple of things that are happening as well before we get on to maybe the Hatters Half. I was on Talksport Radio on Sunday speaking to Sam Matterface.
Hey, weren't you?
Yeah. We're going to upload that. Yeah, we're going to upload that as a podcast and onto YouTube. And I'm actually talking to Heart Radio tomorrow at Edgeley Park, so don't know where that's going to go out, but we'll let you know what's happening there.
North Norfolk Digital now.
Yeah. You will be, yeah. What about the Hatters Half?
The Hatters Half are obviously after Marshalls and someone to. I'm not sure if they found a Danny's hero yet. I think the weather is putting people off, because if someone asks you to run a half marathon and then you see the weather like this, then that's why I can't do it. I've got a bad bit of heat stroke, and I've got to go for heart tests and all that sort of stuff. So that's something to look forward to. Yeah. They found a heart murmur. So So I've got to go for further. Oh, I'll be all right, Ross. Don't worry. You won't have to do the podcast on your own again, mate. It's going to be fine. It's all going to be okay.
I mean, I've got to say that's my main worry. To be honest.
Yeah. I think it's everyone's main worry. So yeah, go to hattershalf.co.uk. I'll get in touch with John Giles on Twitter or Facebook, and he's also on the message boards as Red Hatter, so you can get him that way. It's a good day out if you want to be a marshal as well. That's a good day out. Everyone goes for a pint afterwards, which. Who doesn't want to go for a pint? You get to watch people running about and not have to run about yourself, and then have a pint and shout at people in cars for getting in the way. So shouting at people in cars for ignoring road closures that they've been notified about for 6 weeks. So what more could you want?
Chris, do you keep yourself fit these days, or?
I'm trying to. Yeah. I've got over a charity. You've just been on about the heat and what have you. I haven't played competitive football or kicked football for a while, for whatever reason. But I'm in a charity football tournament on Sunday, so
nice.
I've been pounding the treadmill. I've got a treadmill, so I've just been trying to keep off it, you see, so I don't completely embarrass myself like my olden days. So we'll see how that goes.
Nice. Okay, we have got another competition coming up either next week or in the next couple of weeks to win another Champions print from another artist. We'll reveal all that on. Keep an eye on the socials. That's what everyone says, don't they?
You've got Champions prints coming out of your post box at the moment.
I have.
Yes.
Yeah. I have. Yes. Okay. I think we're just about done, aren't we?
Yeah.
The album. Oh, that's a good question, Chris. What sort of music are you into? We ask every guest this.
Listen, I'm old, mate. So anything from 70s, 80s, yeah. So a bit of Neil Diamond and anything like that. Yeah. That's me.
Right, nice one. Yeah.
It's better than this.
None of this boom, 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 and all that.
No. If you listen really quietly, you can hear him in Tenerife.
I need some words in my songs. I might sing them wrong, but I need some words.
Hey, not wrong with a bit of Neil Diamond. Love on the Rocks is a staple karaoke of mine.
Oh.
Don't go there. Don't go there, please.
Well, maybe we'll get you doing it at Basque, Russ. Maybe we'll get the old karaoke machine out, and you can give us a go.
I would love that. Honestly, I'd do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You might not love it. You could certainly put me on late on if you need to clear the place out.
I'll stick you on for last orders.
Yeah.
What do you fancy? Come on, Chris. A bit of Coming to America on the karaoke. You'd love a bit of that, surely.
No, I don't know. No idea.
Good stuff. Right, that leaves me. All I can. What do you say here? You say all that's left to say. That's it. All.
You didn't even let me tell people what the album was, Russ.
Oh yeah, sorry. The album. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Well, somebody's already guessed it anyway. So.
Yeah.
Matt Bryan.
Well, I don't think they've guessed it. I think they've seen it. I think you've seen it.
Yeah, seen it and know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's the Kinks Village Green Preservation Society. Perfect summer album, and that's good music. If you like other good music, I am on Greater Manchester's Real Rock Radio from between the witching hours of 1 till 3 on Sunday. Spinning. Well, not spinning. It's MP3s in it. Yeah, you can't spin an MP3. More's the pity. Bloody get off my lawn. But yeah, I'll be playing all the best new indie, old indie, and everything in between. So get on that.
Very nice. Now, all that's left for me to say is, Chris, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you, mate.
Really appreciate it.
No, it's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed it, guys. Honestly, it's been good.
Good stuff. I'm glad you are. I'm glad you have. To everybody else, one last time, please subscribe and like and rate on Apple. Do a review on Apple and leave an obscure county player name and rate on Spotify. Thank you very much. I think we're done. So thanks everybody and see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.